It's the hashtag Simply Cyber, COWMUNITY. Here to break the cycle, this is vital more than you and I. Yeah, it's exciting, it don't matter what your title is. You can grab a friend or two or three or four and invite them in. It's the Simply Cyber, bring a good vibe. It's the live with Jerry every morning, having good time. And you know we love to see for you, just gotta go and get it. Yeah, you know we all believe in you, it's time we grow together. It's the Simply Cyber, bring a good vibe. It's the live with Jerry every morning, having good times. And you know we love to see for you, just gotta go and get it. Yeah, you know we all believe in you, it's time we grow together. Dr. Oja is a OG, got that potion, the elixir. Got devotion to all those who keep us showing up to witness. Fit the tricks and quips and all the tips to raise your cyber fitness. Switching up the routines, pass it off to James McQuiggan. Keep the people smiling, hit that follow, that's a good decision. Every week, today, tomorrow, I encourage y'all to listen. We gon' teach y'all way more than how to protect yourselves from phishing. More like being confident so you can recognize the vision. On a mission, it's official, we gon' get through all these issues. Time for jaw jacking, baby, this is more than a tradition, yeah. Oh, I can't forget to recognize the mods. They the engine, they the reason that you leave it feeling charged. It's a Simply Cyber, bring a good vibe. It's that live with Jerry every morning, having good times. And you know we love to see for you, just gotta go and get it. Yeah, you know we all believe in you, it's time we grow together. It's a Simply Cyber, bring a good vibe. It's that live with Jerry every morning, having good times. And you know we love to see for you, just gotta go and get it. Yeah, you know we all believe in you, it's time we grow together. Yeah. What else can I say? I hope you find some value in this place and have yourself an awesome day. Simply Cyber's here to stay. So let's all put our hands together ready. Time to hang with Dr. A.
Alrighty, good morning everybody. Welcome to the Party Pals. This is Friday, July 11th, 2025. This is episode 917 of Simply Cyber's Daily Cyber Threat Brief podcast. I am your host, Dr. Gerald Ozier, alongside many of you like Augusta Delgado, Dennis Key, Phil Stafford, Marcus Kyler of the Yeet Crew, and a one birthday boy, DJ B-Sec. Woo! Welcome to the Party Pals. Guys, we got a great show for you. Over the next hour, we are going to be tearing apart the top cybersecurity news stories of the day, and I will be doing everything within my power to drop knowledge bombs like I am a special forces super plane, and I'm just like knowledge bomb, knowledge bomb, knowledge bomb, knowledge bomb. The goal here is to go beyond the headlines and help you answer the question, how do you stay current every single day in the industry? But go beyond that. Go beyond the classroom, go beyond the textbook, go beyond the academic texts, and give you the insights from practitioners' perspectives, 20 years of experience, lots of education, lots of scars, basically to give you the insights on how things really work. There is a right way to do things, and then there's the way that makes sense to do it because of external factors, politics, all this other crap. But believe me when I tell you that every single day, whether it's episode 917 or episode 1000, we are here to serve this community, myself, the mod team, and all of you, hashtag Team SC. Brilliant, great to see you. Thank you so very much. Now, I want you to know, of all the stories we're going to be going through, normally I would say I don't research and prep for any of them. Why?
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that. But I got up at 6 a.m. this morning, so I actually did read two of the stories, and I will fully disclose in a transparency which of the two stories I read when we get to them. They weren't really that interesting, frankly. It was more of a pop culture thing. I'll just tell you one of them right now. The CEO leaving Twitter, like, whatever. That really doesn't affect me and you in a cyber capability, but it is what it is. Now, I want to say shout out and thanks to the stream sponsors before we get into it. Also, shout out to Code Brew, Port Zero, and Alpha Sierra. Why not? Devin Grady, we got the Upstate crew. Guys, I want you to know every single episode, I am graced, fortunate, blessed. Choose your proper adjective. I am very, very appreciative of the show sponsors, those who enable me to bring this show to you every single day, regardless of what's going on in the news. And I want to start with my friends at Antisyphon Training. Now, Antisyphon Training, links in the description below. Many of you know them. They're the training arm of Black Hills Information Security. But did you know that they're doing all sorts of amazing workshops and trainings, including this James McQuiggan with 20 gifted subs. Jesus criminy. Hold on. I guess this would be an opportunity to point out it is the first. Sorry, Antisyphon, you're going to have to take a back seat for a second. Listen, it would be interesting to know that today is the first. Today is not the first Friday, but because of the holiday last week, today is technically the first Friday. If you're a first timer here, if you didn't know this, every single first Friday of the month, or as best we can, we actually do a lot of fun activities just for fun. And bingo is one of the activities. So feel free to play along. There is a pinned there's a pinned URL in chat right now. Hold on one second. Let me do this. I'm going to drop it in chat. Grab your bingo card. It's absolutely free, costs nothing. You'll get a profile like this. Gifted subs is on the bingo card, which is why. Stop it, BSEC. You are not got bingo yet. Go ahead, scoop it up. Who's got them? All right, Elliot Matisse, Huey Booey, Phil, Sean Sailors, Random X. Okay, fill up your cards here, and let's get back to the ad read. So, guys, first of all, this workshop is today. 4 hours today. You can literally get trained for free from Bo Bullock in Introduction to Cloud Security. If you're looking to break into the industry, if you're looking to skill up, you got 20 years of experience, but it's all on-prem and you're looking to skill up, may I introduce you to this workshop, 4 hours, great opportunity. Not to mention, can I just quickly shout out this guy right here, Bo Bullock? He is a practitioner's practitioner. The man is all about good times, yet he's also incredibly focused and committed to excellence. I had the opportunity to compete against him in a Magic the Gathering tournament at Wild West Hackenfest last year. I'm telling you, this guy was like fun and games, high fives, right up until the minute the game started, and then I thought he was going to murder me. So, like, this guy is dialed in. So if you're looking to learn from an expert, this guy right here, Bo Bullock, come check it out. I'll drop a link in the description below if I can. There you go. Get some of that. All right. Hold on one second. Hold on one second. I got to make sure we don't run out of music. There we go. Also want to say shout out to Barricade Cyber Solutions. Now, I have to fix this because it's a last minute thing. Barricade Cyber Solutions and their Fortify 365 service. Guys, if you're running an M365 environment and you haven't properly secured it, or worse, you don't know how to secure it, consider outsourcing that service. Get help from a professional. Barricade Cyber Solutions, they understand the importance of securing an organization. They have helped many organizations harden their M365 instance without compromising functionality or business operations capability. So why not take advantage of this opportunity? Go to barricadecyber.com/fortify-365 to get in contact with them and take advantage of this opportunity. I'm telling you guys, this is a great opportunity to just, like, why not harden your environment basically with a practitioner who sees threat actors exploit these environments all the time. It's perfect. Also want to say shout out to Delete Me. I got to do this ad read correctly. All right, guys, check it out really quickly. Great birthday gift if you're looking to get DJ BSEC a gift. Right now, the headlines are chock full of data breaches and regulatory rollbacks, making us all vulnerable, but you can do something about it. Delete Me is here to make it easy, quick, and safe to remove your personal data online. You want an easier way to deal with data breaches? Get Delete Me. The fact is, we're all at risk, all of us. How many times have you gotten an email for a letter saying your data has been breached? It's unsettling. It sucks to be victimized. But the good news is Delete Me can help. As someone with an active online presence, privacy is really important to me. Guys, just like everyone else, I have a home, and I have my family and the people I love at that home. I don't want people who I want to choose who knows where my home address is, not have someone be able to just go online and get it or pay a small fee to a data broker and get it. So it's concerning to me. I've done something about it with Delete Me. Take control of your data. Keep your private life private by signing up for Delete Me now at a special discount for our listeners, get 20% off your Delete Me plan when you go to joindeleteme.com/simplycyber and use promo code simplycyber at checkout. The only way to get 20% off is to go to joindeleteme.com/simplycyber. Enter code simplycyber at checkout. That's joindeleteme.com/simplycyber, code simplycyber. Thank you, Delete Me, as always. And thank you, all of you, Team SC, for, basically understanding how the show works and hooking it up and being really understanding. Guys, I want to let you know every single episode of the Daily Cyber Threat Brief, including this one, is worth half a CPE. So say what's up in chat. Grab a screenshot. Lurker mode activated. Space Tacos. We might have to come up with some type of two things. One, Space Tacos. I almost want to get a sound effect for Lurker mode activated. Number two, I want everyone in chat to know that since I got up early this morning, I sat here at my desk for like an hour and a half. I updated the soundboard, so we've got some classics back in the rotation for the mobile studio. Things like, right? Like, so when Space Tacos has Lurker mode activated, you got to watch out for that one, okay? Things like that. Also, ChatGPT and that whole crew.
Shall we play a game?
We've got some great sound effects for you guys. I hope you're enjoying the bingo all together. Enjoy that. Hey, guys, if today's your first episode, drop a hashtag first-timer. Hashtag first-timer in chat. Hashtag first-timer. If it's your first time, don't be shy. We love welcoming our first-timers. And if Angelina or Kevin are here, they were first-timers this week. Welcome back to the party, pal. I hope you're enjoying the living crap out of this. I know Space Tacos loves himself some manual sound effects. Maybe I'll sprinkle them in, Space Tacos. We'll do what we can. Guys, I am so excited, so happy. It's Friday. If you guys got the weekend off, let's party. We got Black Hat around the corner. The DEF CON meetup is happening. If you guys want links to that, I'll provide them later. We got the Simply CyberCon. A lot of great activities coming up. I'm super, super excited. We're actually, really quick, I'm going to say this and then we're going to get to the news. We're looking at the workshops, the lunch and learns. We're actually going to amplify that and make it so it's through the academy now. So all of these, oh, hey, Robert's listening from the Mayo Clinic. Hey, Robert. I just want to share something with you really quickly. If you did not know, the Lunch and Learn series, we've had some really dicey things. Perry Carpenter did like deep fakes, and he had like Santa talking about kidnapping your children, and I had to pull it down. We did a social engineering one the other day that kind of got dicey. I left it up. Tyler Ramsby's about to show you next Tuesday how to build a complete phishing infrastructure and use it, and that's just a bridge too far. So I was like, dude, let's put this through the academy. That way everyone can get it. There's no concerns of deplatforming on YouTube and stuff like that. And on top of that, you're going to get issued a certificate of completion for attending the workshop and CPEs. So we're leveling up everything over here at Simply Cyber. We're not taking our time. We're not sitting on our butt. We're cranking it out. We're like DJ BSEC on a birthday train. You know what I mean? We're working. We're putting in the efforts. We're choo-choo. Hey, really quickly, Edward Solo Rio, first-timer in chat. Welcome to the party, Edward.
Welcome to the party, pal.
So if you guys can welcome Edward Solo Rio, squad members, you know what to do. I also am a squad member, so I'll do that. All right, guys, do me a favor. Get your coffee. I've got mine. It sucks because they put the logo on the other side of the coffee, and I'm not left-handed. I don't know if this bothers anyone else, but it bothers me. Mr. Honesty says, wear this. I don't know what you're talking about, bud. All right, oh, by the way, guys, it's Friday. Jesus, we always have so much going on. It's insane. It's Friday, which means James McQuiggan at 35,000 feet, the same dude who gave 20 gifted subs a few minutes ago, is going to be tickling your ribs with dad jokes. This guy is amazing at dad jokes. If you're watching this on a plane right now and you're in seat 4B, go ahead and kick the chair in front of you because there's a high probability it's James McQuiggan. All that and more at the mid-roll, but for now, do me a favor, everybody. Sit back, relax, and let's let the cool sounds of the hot news wash over you in an awesome wave. I'll see you guys at the mid-roll. Let's cook.
From the CISO series, it's cybersecurity headlines.
These are the cybersecurity headlines for Friday, July 11th, 2025. I'm Steve Prentice. Look out, another Outlook outage. A major outage affected millions of users worldwide yesterday, actually starting at 6:20 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday, July the 9th. At the time, Microsoft announced that, quote, users may be unable to access their mailbox using any connection methods, end quote, and this included Outlook.com, Outlook Mobile, the Outlook desktop client, and Hotmail. An update late Wednesday evening had Microsoft stating it was, quote, continuing to probe the impacted mailbox infrastructure and suspected the glitch was related to an authentication component, end quote. By 2 a.m. Thursday morning, Microsoft announced that the fix would take an extended period, but that progress was being made. As of this recording, full restoration has not yet been achieved.
All right. Well, I mean, this is, I guess, okay, here's the thing. Number one, when you outsource services to a third party, you're kind of at the mercy of that third party. Now, Microsoft is a proven Fortune, 10 company at this point. So their outages are pretty limited, but they are a complex organization with a lot of services. So crap does happen. 11 million people impacted. It was for a few hours. So hopefully people were able to get their crap done and not have it be a problem for a few hours, right? They mentioned it was an authentication issue, so not a junior engineer BGP issue. But, it is a thing. As always, these cloud services always have a status page where you can see what's cooking. You can see Outlook.com is up and running. A good time to remind everybody about Down Detector. Down Detector is, I don't even know how they make money, frankly, but Down Detector is a great, this website is basically like the first place to go if you're concerned about downstream impact, right? You could see up here, top left, Microsoft Outlook. You could see on the trend graph here, the histogram, if you will, that it was experiencing an issue. And it looks like it was tied to Microsoft 365 also. So this crap happens. All I would say is, two things. One, actually just one thing, right? This is an opportunity for you to remind the help desk and the service desk that these type of challenges can come in and there isn't much you can do about it. Now, being able to coordinate and have a response is a good idea. So like when this goes down, basically you can imagine that help desk is going to start blowing up, right? Because people are like, I can't check my email. That's a problem. So, help desk can't fix this, but they need to get insights. So they probably reach out to IT or depending on how large your organization is, maybe the email team, if you got that, or the Azure team, if you're running Exchange Online Protection. So basically you just want to be able to have effective communication. To me, that's the TLDR of this, right? Yeah, this sucks, but Microsoft's going to fix it. You can't do much other than sit on your thumb. So you'd want to make sure that you thought through communication and be able to convey that. Of course, actually, now that I think about it, you can't really email everybody because email's down. This is an opportunity to, I know when I say email team, but like sometimes there are large organizations, DJ BSEC. Anyways, the other thing to think through is alternative out-of-band communication channels and what's appropriate and what's not. And let me explain. Most people aren't going to do hey, what do we do if Outlook's not available? Like Exchange isn't available. You're just going to be like, naturally, you're going to fall back onto something else, right? So here's the thing. Like we run an organization, right? And the email goes down. I'm immediately going to get on Slack or Discord and message DJ BSEC and be like, dude, what's up with email? You know what I mean? So I might get on my phone and text message him. I might get on my phone and call him. So basically when something as integral as enterprise email goes down. Staff are immediately going to fall back to whatever they have available and basically make their own decisions. So what I would say is I wouldn't try to control all of that because there's too many variables unless you have an enterprise solution like Slack and you've implemented it at a large scale so you can just tell people to use Slack. You should just be ready and be mindful of that. Yeah, I mean, the other thing I would say is, and this is going to be a hard one, but you should remind your users that they shouldn't be sending sensitive information or unauthorized information through non-authorized medium channels. And I know that that sounds like such a nerdy thing. Just the way I said it sounded super nerdy. But the point is, like, if email goes down, you're not supposed to send a Excel sheet full of patient information over iCloud or you know what I mean? Like, or Gmail. Like, that's not a good move. It may not result in a data breach, but it's a stupid move. So just kind of educate your end users around that. Again, the chances of this going down is like what? Once every once in a while. So the sucky thing is when you're trying to do these permutations, your end users and your workforce are going to be like, dude, why are we talking about this? This never happens. And you're going to be like, ugh. You know what I mean? All right. So, and for all those help desk people, if I didn't love my coffee so much, right, I would pour a little bit out for you. This right here, this story, this is like support desk's nightmare. All right. Hold on one second. All right. I don't know why, but for some reason, I feel like this is super appropriate. DJ BSEC dropping this. This is what you can respond to your, like, when you send out a mass Slack notification about how email's down, you could just send this GIF. It'll be a lot faster, clearly, and a lot funnier. Although, there's nothing funny about email being down.
Iranian APTs increased activity against U.S. industries in the late spring. This statement is from Nozomi Networks, a company that, quote, specializes in securing OT for critical infrastructure, end quote. Their report, released on Tuesday, said that its team, quote, spotted 28 Iran-linked attacks on customers in May and June, up from 12 in the previous two-month period, a bump of 133%, end quote. Prime U.S. targets were in transportation and manufacturing. The most active of the Iranian groups observed was Muddy Water, a group we have reported on many times through the years, yet who is best known for targeting infrastructure in Saudi Arabia, Iraq, and Turkey. Russia.
Okay, a couple things here unrelated to cybersecurity. Nozomi researchers, I read this and immediately think of Team Umizoomi. If you're a parent, you know what I'm talking about. If you're not a parent, you probably think I just mentioned some like hot new underground Gen Z emo band that's coming out called Team Umizoomi out of the Bay Area up in San Francisco. But yeah, no. Parents know what I'm talking about. Second of all, Muddy Water. We have heard about this threat actor group, not to be confused with Muddy Waters. I believe that was like a blues band from like the 70s. So just a couple things unrelated to anything. Also, drink. Dude, Iran's been getting after it these last couple days. APT-36 was punching Pakistan in the grill. Iran, I mean, obviously the United States dropped, heavy munition payloads on Iran's facilities recently. That's not a subjective take. That's been reported in the news, so objective as it is. And Iran is, I guess it shouldn't come as a surprise that they are utilizing the capabilities at their disposal to attack an adversary, i.e. the United States in this instance. And guys, I've said this 1,000 times, okay? And by 1,000, probably like 110 times. Like, there are well-known battle spaces: land, sea, air, space, and cyber, okay? And I know in space, we're not quite Moonraker levels yet, but cyber, there's only one internet. A lot of people are connected to it. So a threat actor in Iran can punch a business in the United States in the mouth quite easily. So you'd be a fool to think that cyber capabilities aren't being weaponized at all capacities. What does this mean for you? Well, it means two things. Number one, if you work in transportation or let's see who they hit. I thought it said transportation and manufacturing. Yeah. So transportation and manufacturing sectors, you should be aware you're probably already being attacked. There's 133% uptick in attacks, specifically 28 attacks on customers in May and June from this Iranian-based threat actor group. So all this means is you have an increased likelihood of attack, right? So GRC people, like, this is where we live. Like, welcome to our house. Come on in, sit down, grab yourself a cup of coffee, make yourself comfortable, because this is GRC land. This is a straight up, the formula for your risk profile has gone up. The likelihood is increased. So be mindful of that. The second thing I want to point out, and honestly, guys, this is a perfect example. You know what, DJV, second is your birthday. I'll tell you this much, guys. Nation on nation action is so hot right now.
That Hansel's so hot right now.
All right, listen, here's the reality, guys. There's a reason when people say, oh, what do you do to stay current on the industry? If you haven't connected the dots on why it's so important to stay informed on what's going on, allow me to introduce you to example number one. United States bombs Iran, okay? In response, or leading up to it, Iran increases cyber attacks on manufacturing and transportation businesses in the United States. So if you're just bumping along, like, let's just say you work for a transportation company out of Houston, Texas, just randomly picking something, right? H-Town, Ghetto Boys. You got big techs cooking around here. You got trucks, logistics, transportation, right? You're living that Houston life right now, okay? You got your head down. Maybe you just got promoted to like chief, like deputy chief information officer. You're cooking, right? The United States does something in the Middle East. You're like, what does this got to do with me? I'm heads down, focused on improving what's going on now that they just hired this new CIO, right? Well, the reality is you need to stay current on what's going on because the actions of the United States involvement in Iran and what they're doing has increased your threat model, your threat landscape, your risk profile. I didn't mean threat profile, I meant risk profile. Your risk profile has changed. It's elevated because of an increased likelihood of an Iranian-based threat actor retaliating for those attacks and taking it out on you, right? I mean, you work in the United States. Like, they don't care. They're just attacking. So this is why it's absolutely critical for you to stay current on what's going on. Now, if you do work in transportation or manufacturing, since it's been demonstrated as a real increase in attacks, I recommend you go to MITRE ATT&CK, look at Iranian-based threat actors, specifically Muddy Water, APT-33, Oil Rig, Cyber Avengers, which is a pretty cool threat actor name. It's not quite Flaming Donkey, but it's good. Fox Kitten and Homeland Justice, right? With Muddy Waters being the most active, okay? So I would go look at, it depends on where your cybersecurity program is. Okay, here's another GRC thing. If your cybersecurity program maturity level right now is playing in the kiddie pool, if your cybersecurity program is watching Paw Patrol and Team Umizoomi, you don't need to worry about this because you need to put in the basic blocking and tackling. You need MFA. You need awareness training. You need patching. You need network segmentation. You need privileged access management. But if your cybersecurity program is bumped up, right? Your cybersecurity program is taking an honors level calculus, right? And you're what's something else? Big brain, right? You got that home chemistry kit where you just like mixing stuff and see what happens, right? If that's the maturity level of your cyber program and you work in manufacturing and transportation, yes, go ahead. Scoop into the MITRE ATT&CK. Look at Muddy Water. See what their TTPs are. Craft tabletop exercises aligned with those. Make sure that your detections for your SOC and your SIM are aligned with Muddy Waters TTPs. Use the IOCs of Muddy Water and Iranian-based threat actor groups to go threat hunting in your environment, or thrunting if you're Wade Wells. Okay, these are all options to you. That's what's up. Yeah, if you're Ralph Wiggum eating paste, don't even sweat MITRE ATT&CK. Just go get yourself some MFA and call it a day, all right? We'll get you a clown ice cream sundae at Friendly's. That's a bit of a deep cut for those from the New England area. Okay, let's go.
Basketball player arrested in France over alleged ransomware tie.
This is one of the two stories that I read in advance. Full disclosure.
At the request of the United States, 26-year-old professional athlete Daniel Kasatkin was arrested in France, accused of involvement in a ransomware group that, quote, allegedly targeted hundreds of American companies and federal institutions, end quote. He was arrested in June upon arriving at Paris's Charles de Gaulle airport and is being held in extradition custody. Kasatkin previously studied and played basketball at Penn State University. The ransomware network that he is accused of being associated with has not been named. His role allegedly was as a ransom payment negotiator, although his lawyer has described him as, quote, useless with computers, end quote.
All right, so this dude, so I read the whole story here, so this has nothing to do really, like, well, hold on, first of all, come on, Nate G. Or Warren G, Nate G, Jesus Christ. Nate Dogg.
Regulators! Mount up. It was a clear black night, a clear white moon.
Shit.
When G was on the streets trying to
Hold on.
consume
I just spilled. Fuck. Hold on one second. I literally just like poured coffee. Not spilled coffee. I poured coffee onto my computer. And this isn't my house. I don't have paper towels. One second. Talk amongst yourselves. I've got to deal with an idiot. Me. Oh my God, bro. This is a brand new shirt too. I don't want to use my shirt to clean it up. Oh my God. Okay. Okay, so the solution is I'm going to put this manila folder over the puddle between it and my laptop. Well, okay. There we go. Out of sight, out of mind. All right. Hey, all right. I literally poured coffee onto my computer with a jackwagon. Okay. So this Russian basketball player, two things. Number one, I know this is like some stupid flex or something, but I know I know a former professional basketball player. I also know a couple former pro hockey players. All right, like I wouldn't call them friends, but I've gone to multiple parties with them. I went to the movies with the basketball player one time. I forget what we saw. Oh, we saw the Avengers Endgame movie together. Anyways, they're just normal people. Okay, so the fact that whatever Kobe Bryant flies in a helicopter or Shaq owns part of Papa John's. They're still humans, right? As Charles Barkley said, I'm not a role model. Also, drink. That was a deep cut. So anyways, this Russian basketball player, just because he's a pro player doesn't mean he can't be a ransomware threat actor negotiator. Now, the argument that his lawyer is making is that he bought a computer secondhand, and the computer... Yes, thank you, Daniel Lowry. I'm about to get fired from my own company. They're like, yeah, we did an analysis and we've decided that you've increased our risk too high. You're too much of a risk. So this guy's argument is that he bought a computer secondhand and it was the threat actor's computer, and he doesn't know anything about computers. He can barely send an email, so he's clearly not at risk. His shirt does look like it says MFA, so really quick shout out on all that. Here's my thing. Number one, if this dude is in, like, here's where I stand on this one. Again, this is like a fun. It's fun for us, not for this guy, right? He's in jail. But this is a fun story for us. This is not anything that we're going to do. We're not going to change anything. So get ready, squad members, if you will, tinfoil hat, because I got a tinfoil hat. Mrs. Ozier doesn't like it when I like swim into the tinfoil hat waters. She thinks I should stay in my swim lane. But check this out. First of all, it's quite possible this dude is criminal. Second of all, I really don't. I have a tale of two cities here. On one hand, I think that federal law enforcement, for all of its, challenges and stuff, I feel like they don't release indictments willy-nilly, right? Like typically, they have tons of evidence and support, because they want to get a conviction, right? So they usually have a load of evidence to support. So if this dude's argument is that, I just bought the computer secondhand, like that would be such a flimsy case for the federal law enforcement to try to prosecute that, like, I find that laughable. So chances are this dude could be it. Now, on the other hand, if we're playing devil's advocate, and I wanted to point out something, right now, the United States and Russia are in a bit of a pissing contest, right? And on top of that, Russia arrested and held I forget her name, but there was like a WNBA player, and she was held for like having weed or something like that. And she was held for a while. Okay, so I don't know if this is some tit for tat, like basically this guy's like a victim of like two powerful people doing powerful things. You know what I mean? So I got to give the guy the benefit of the doubt. I don't know one way or the other if he's criminal or if he's just being a pawn in the game. He's basically like, he could potentially be like some citizen of like District 7 or District 9, right? Where like, you're just kind of a pawn in like the District 1 power player games, right? So we'll see where it goes. They don't name the ransomware threat actor group. Honestly, I don't know why. Like, I don't know why this guy would choose you. It would appear that oftentimes the threat actors that are conducting these crimes are in worse financial situations, worse kind of economic situations, worse day-to-day living situations where turning to cybercrime is quite, quite a good idea, right? This guy's like went to Penn State. He was in the U.S. He's obviously got a professional basketball career. Like, he doesn't fit the MO, if you will. So I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. All right, let's keep cooking.
4 people arrested in connection with Marks & Spencer and Co-op cyber attacks. British police, along with dozens of officers from Britain's National Crime Agency, NCA, descended on the homes of 4 suspects who now stand accused of conducting the cyber attacks on the retailers Marks & Spencer and the Co-op. The suspects range in age from 17 to 20. 3 of these are from the UK and the 4th from Latvia. During the raid, police also seized numerous electronic devices from their homes. The 4 were apprehended on suspicion of Computer Misuse Act offenses, blackmail, money laundering, and participating in the activities of an organized crime group.
Oh, hey, you know what? H. Teasdale actually brings up a really nice point, too. Thanks for dropping that in chat. And by the way, I totally welcome everyone offering constructive feedback on the stories in chat. We are a community, okay? We are a community. But keep it constructive. Keep it on brand, right? We're not here to, like, spew hater. I don't say this very often, but just to remind everybody, I know many of you are well aware of this, but core values of this community are support, right? We hook each other up. Inclusion. We are inclusive and, respect different people's backgrounds, cultural differences, decisions. We're here to and the final one is empowerment. We're here to empower every individual here to have an opportunity to have an amazing career, an amazing journey within the cybersecurity industry. That's what we're about. So if you're not part of that, then Simply Cyber is not great for you. But if you are, welcome to the party, pal. Okay, so check it out. 4 arrested in connection with MNS co-op cyber attacks. Good. Guys, I don't know, so listen, there's a lot of big companies that get hit with ransomware. It happens all the time, okay? Recently, Scattered Spider went on a crime spree, basically, with the retail industry in the UK. And I know it pisses off Roswell, UK when I say it, but Marks and Spencer's, or whatever it is, I say it wrong almost on purpose at this point, and Co-op got hit. Now, you don't necessarily see this level of fast reaction from law enforcement. So what I think is, again, this is a tinfoil hot take, but what I think here happened is that some very powerful people, I bet you if you did the research on this, it would be true. Some very powerful people are heavily invested or are friends with people who are heavily invested in Mark and Spencer and Co-op. I guarantee you, because you almost never see this fast a turnaround. We saw it with Colonial Pipeline. I think that was because there was a social outcry of almost like a terror response. But this right here screams, and if anyone knows one way or the other, let me know in chat. But this to me screams that powerful people were impacted directly and they didn't like it. All right, so the national okay, Nate Dogg, calm down. All right, Nate, Jesus. All right, so listen. The National Crime Agency, NCA, says a 20-year-old woman was arrested in Staffordshire and 3 males aged 17 to 19. Okay, there you go. Now, Scattered Spider, I don't know if they are directly related to Scattered Spider, but Scattered Spider has been known as very brash, right? And I talk about it on the channel all the time. You can almost tell, not always, but you can usually estimate the age of the threat actor based on their behavior. And I know that sounds wild, but if you've seen enough crime, you can begin to see oh yeah, that's definitely young. There's absolutely no question that's a young person who's behind the keyboard on that one. So this was a Latvia man. The rest are in the UK. I got to tell you, man, if you're committing cybercrime in the UK or United States or even Canada, you are making bad choices. You really should just move, fly out to Belarus and start committing crime. Not to say Belarus is a crime hub. I'm just choosing a random Eastern European country, so please don't blast me in chat on that one. Let's see. Let's see here. How did they find these people? Yeah, the BBC revealed the hackers sent an offensive email to the boss of MNS demanding payment. This right here, all day, every day, this right here is a young person's move. Let's see. The criminals, the company disconnected from the internet. All right, so Co-op, one of their choices was to basically unplug the internet. These guys are screwed, okay? It doesn't say how they caught them, which is too bad because it would have been really nice to catch. Guys, if I may introduce you to a concept. So I have a computer science, I have 2 computer science degrees. And if you didn't know, there's actually a lot of math that you're required to do when you get a computer science degree. I've taken Calculus 1, Calculus 2, multivariable calculus. And one of the tenets that you get drilled into you as a practitioner is this unbelievable phenomena of F around and find out. It's actually proven. It's a linear value. I think it might be a law, not even a theory. And yeah, these dudes effed around. Good luck with that. 17 years old. You're going to be tried as an adult if I had to guess. All right, let's keep cooking.
Huge thanks to our sponsor, Vanta. Do you know the status of your compliance controls right now? Like right now? We know that real-time visibility is critical for security, but when it comes to our GRC programs, we rely on point-in-time checks. But more than 9,000 companies have continuous visibility into their controls with Vanta. Vanta brings automation to evidence collection across over 35 frameworks like SOC 2 and ISO 27001. They also centralize key workflows like policies, access reviews, and reporting, and help you get security questionnaires done 5 times faster with AI. Now that's a new way to GRC. Get started at vanta.com/headlines. That is VANTA.com/headlines.
All right. Check this out. Let's blow out the copyright. Oh, hold on. I gotta do the thread locker ad. Hold on 1 second. Just as a quick note, as an update for those who are following, my Manila folder is not holding liquid very well. So there's that. Hey, let's do the threat actor ad read really quickly. I hope everyone's enjoying the bingo. I'll take a look at that. I'll be in chat with you for a hot minute. Don't forget we got jaw jacking. And as soon as the threat locker ad read is completed, I'm going to tickle your ribs with James McQuiggan jokes. So stay tuned for that. Let's hear from Threat Locker. I want to give some love to the Daily Cyber Threat Brief sponsor, Threat Locker. Do zero-day exploits and supply chain attacks keep you up at night? Well, worry no more. You can harden your security with Threat Locker. Worldwide, companies like JetBlue trust Threat Locker to secure their data and keep their business operations flying high. Threat Locker takes a deny-by-default approach to cybersecurity and provides a full audit of every action allowed or blocked for risk management and compliance. Onboarding and operation is fully supported by their US-based Cyber Heroes support team. Get a free 30-day trial and learn more about how Threat Locker can help prevent ransomware and ensure compliance. Visit threatlocker.com. All right, I decided to restart the song so we get that sweet, sweet drop. I just want everyone to know, oh, Jesus. Let's go, Kathy Chambers. Hey, I just want everyone to know how my brain thinks. So if you're ever curious what's going on in the brain of me, as I'm looking at this coffee mess, I thought, hey, how can I fix this? What's the lesson learned? Well, the lesson learned, I could either not bring coffee to my desk, which is not happening, or I could introduce a paper towel roll within arm's reach so this issue can be remedied in the future. So just want you guys to know that I live in a constant state of GRC. I live that GRC life. All right, guys. Hey, shout out to all of you, the stream sponsors. Oh my God. Hey guys, thank you so very much, all of you, for being here. The mod team for their support. DJ Bisek for his birthday. Kathy Chambers is going to be joining us in the panel. That's very exciting. Shout out to the stream sponsors, Barricade, Delete Me, Antisyphon, and Threat Locker. As always, bringing the heat. I do want to... where is Kathy? Hold on 1 second. There we go. I do want to tickle your ribs, so get ready for some of that action. Here we go. James McQuiggan every single Friday, including today, is going to be doing the joke of the week, and his podcast, Simply Secured, will be airing on Fridays. We did a little teaser. Uh-oh. Okay, I'm being told I'm yelling. Okay. Hold on 1 second. All right, guys. Here we go. James McQuiggan at 35,000 feet with the jokes of the week. Get ready for this one. Seeing as the new Superman movie came out, here are some dad jokes about comic superheroes. Why doesn't Superman help us fight cybercrime? It's a good question, right? He's always fighting more kinetic criminals. Why doesn't he fight cybercrime? Because he's afraid of cryptocurrency. Oh boy. He's afraid of cryptocurrency. Thank you, James McQuiggan. And you know what? Not all heroes wear capes. We'll handle the crypto crime, cybercrime, and Superman can stop missiles. Which superhero is great at making jokes and puns? Hey, Carrie, which superhero is great at making jokes and puns? You guys might not know that he's hilarious, but the Punisher, which superhero... Oh, okay, I'm sorry, really quickly. Spider-Man and Wonder Woman are starting a new tech company. I don't know if you guys saw this. They're actually revealing it at Black Hat. Wonder Woman and Spider-Man, it's a DC Marvel crossover. It's going to be called Amazon Web Services. Oh, my God. Amazon Web Services. Look for it at Black Hat 2025. Spider-Man and Wonder Woman Marvel DC crossover. All right, let's get our laws on. Thank you, James McQuiggan. All right, let's finish strong, everybody. Remember, we got panel jaw jacking at the top of the hour, which is in 10 minutes, so we're going to speed run this second half here.
Google Cloud offers partial AI data sovereignty for UK customers. Google Cloud is taking steps to address data sovereignty concerns around AI data by offering UK-based organizations, quote, the option to keep Gemini 2.5 Flash machine learning processing entirely within the UK, end quote. This will be presented as an option in which, quote, a customer can select Google Cloud's UK region, which is Europe West 2, when using Gemini 2.5 Flash to store data in that region, end quote. This means that machine learning computations, in other words, the processing of Gemini 2.5 Flash, can be limited to within the UK region. However, the same...
Whoops.
...not be said for tech support, which will be shared by Google's global facilities, a complicating factor in complete data sovereignty.
Hey, really quick, Cyberlorian with a super chat.
Did we just become best friends? Yep.
Nice, I love it. Thank you, Cyberlorian. He says, I live that GRC life. This is shirt worthy. I love it. Maybe we'll get those shirts made. I owe Priceless Pancake a white font on black shirt. I heart NIST as well. Guys, TLDR, like any of these SaaS products, cloud service providers, data governance is a thing. And if you want to keep your data in certain places, these massive Fortune 5 companies are offering that. Putting your data into AI is no one's really reading the EULA or the contract terms on where your data goes. So just be aware of it. Here's the thing. Basically, anyone short of like the U.S. federal government isn't really getting any type of preference, right? You can't be a tech. You can't dude. Even like a $750 million company can't message Google and say, "You'll give me my own tenant and not have my data not there." Like that's not happening. So just basic data governance best practices. Educate your end users on what should go in and what should not go in, and whatever. So if you're in the UK, you might be able to get some of this, but it sounds like no support. So whatever. To me, this is a story about the UK and AI data and Gemini, but in reality, this applies all over the place.
Perfect Blue Bluetooth flaws impact Mercedes, Volkswagen, and Skoda vehicles. This flaw comprises 4 vulnerabilities and affects the Blue SDK Bluetooth stack from Open Synergy, used in vehicles from the vendors mentioned as well as others, since it is widely used in the automotive industry. The flaw can be exploited to, quote, achieve remote code execution and potentially allow access to critical elements, end quote. The security issues can be, quote, chained together into an exploit that researchers call a perfect blue attack, and that can be delivered over the air by an attacker, requiring, quote, at most 1 click from a user, end quote. Perfect Blue, by the way, is spelled Perfekt Blue, all as one word. The flaw was discovered by pen testers at PCA Cybersecurity, an automotive security firm known as regular participants at Pwn to Own Automotive, and who have uncovered more than 50 vulnerabilities in car systems in the last year alone. Interestingly, the manufacturer Open Synergy, quote, confirmed the flaws last year in June and released patches to customers in September 2024, but many automakers have yet to push the firmware updates. At least one major OEM learned only recently about the security risks, end quote.
All right. So, basically cars nowadays have all sorts of technology going into them. There's wireless setup, of course. There is the CAM, I think it's called the CAM hub. It's like this network of devices and stuff that all interface together into like kind of one main processor unit. You can go to Car Hacking Village in DEF CON to learn more about hacking vehicles and stuff like that. But Bluetooth is another one. Like everybody sits in their car and their phone pairs with their device at this point, unless you're driving like a 1971, K10 pickup truck with a bench seat. It's like 3 different colors. Used to be a DPW car. I get it. You don't have Bluetooth, okay? But for the most people, we're running Bluetooth here. Because it is a protocol into the control system of the vehicle, there is an opportunity for those protocols to be exploited. There have been numerous Bluetooth attacks over the years. It was like very hot, right? Hold on.
That Hansel's so hot right now.
It was so hot a few years ago that like 90% of Black Hat talks were about hacking Bluetooth, right? Locks, pleasure devices or whatever. Like there's probably a more appropriate term for it, but go Google it. You'll see what I'm talking about. Anyways, looks like these cars probably they all use the same back-end firmware. And they're messed up. So there is firmware updates that can be there. The challenge is getting the firmware updates. These cars typically can't get pushed an update. Back in the day, the Jeep Grand Cherokee or Jeep Cherokees, whatever it was, they physically mailed USB devices to owners of the vehicles and asked them to update their own car. That's a show. Some people drive it into dealerships and get the dealership to do the service. It's a mess, okay? It's a mess, all right? So just be aware of that. The question is, so for me personally, since I live that GRC life, what I'm thinking of here is, okay, millions of cars are at risk. What is the real risk here? Because Bluetooth is a PAN protocol, a personal area network protocol, meaning you have to physically be close to the car. So no one's taking the car over control over the car on the internet from Bluetooth. Okay. So number one, you've got a constraint on who's allowed to exploit this risk. Second of all, like how complicated is it, right? Ooh, nice. We've got a CVE. So I'm going to go to DJ BSEC, the birthday boy. Go to his website, go to his Blue Team tools, go to launch, type in the CVE, hit get results, and let that queue up. This thing's cooking right now, all right? Here's the TLDR. This is basically interesting news because it's automobiles and people know what cars are and Mercedes and Volkswagens and stuff. But in reality, it's probably not a huge deal. Looking at this, come on, DJ BSEC. DJ BSEC, can you ask for faster processing for your birthday? I'm such an unreasonable prick. All right. We'll come back to that later. Anyways, TLDR, if you're interested in Bluetooth, check this out. But in reality, this doesn't move the needle for me, you, Fleetus, or Kathy. Let's go.
Linda Yaccarino becomes an XX exec. The former head of advertising at NBC Universal took over the reins at X, formerly Twitter, 2 years ago. Just recently, she stated in a post on X that she was immensely grateful to owner Elon Musk for, quote, entrusting me with the responsibility of protecting free speech, turning the company around and transforming X into the everything app, end quote. Musk's reply post said only, quote, thank you for your contributions, end quote. The reasons for Yaccarino's departure are still not known. NVIDIA becomes the world's first...
All right, so the last 2 stories are kind of trash stories, frankly, and have almost nothing to do with cybersecurity, so I guess... indirectly, thank you, CISO series, for choosing to do stories that we can just Ariana Grande next on. And that's a reference for you Gen Z kids out there, I think. Listen, I'm going to share some. I did read this story in advance, so I don't normally research any of the stories, but I had some time this morning. This one, okay, this woman was hired to be CEO of Twitter or X, while Elon was, more focused on other things. I'm going to share a story with you, okay? This is like one of those big brain lessons learned that like you're probably only going to get one or two opportunities in your career to experience this, and some of you may never get it, okay? And this is my hot take on it, okay? So if you got an experience similar to this, let me know. This woman was CEO in title, but she was really. Do you remember when Twitter basically got taken over by Elon and like half the advertisers left and the value of the company went in the crapper, and like it was a mess, right? She was brought in allegedly as the CEO, but really her mission was to fix the revenue and profitability of the company, right? Elon's still CEO, even though he was doing a bunch of things. Elon's Elon, right? So now that she's yes, Grok went off the rails the other day with like anti-Semitic remarks and stuff like that. But I think that this was already in the works, okay? She was brought in very specifically to do a specific thing. I bet you anything she had a term limit on what she was doing. They're not going to say that. It's like I don't know if it's publicly traded. I think it's publicly traded, right? It would be very disruptive if they were like, oh, we're just bringing in a CEO for a hot minute, right? Let me share this with you. When I worked at Bearing Point like 1,000 years ago, Bearing Point, which went bankrupt, they hired a CFO right near the end. And that CFO had tons of experience in helping companies go through bankruptcy. And when they hired the CFO, they're like, oh no, this guy's going to turn the company around. He's a genius with numbers and spreadsheets, whatever. And you know what happened? Immediately the company went bankrupt and this guy like walked the company through it. So sometimes people are hired into these executive positions, but they're hired for very, very specific reasons to do a very, very specific job. And yeah, they could have hired them as a contractor, but in reality, you need them to have the authority, the power, and the perception, if it's a publicly traded company, to hold that C-level role to be able to execute without disrupting the share value, okay? So big people doing powerful things. I'm just a little person who's like a peon in the grand scheme of all these things, but I just want to let you know, sometimes like this is the meta of what's going on and something you should keep an eye out for, frankly.
$4 trillion company. Unsurprising.
All right, really quick, I'm not even going to let this story play. NVIDIA became the first $4 trillion company. For some reason, right now, Wall Street is exploding. Your 401k is probably crushing it. And at the same time, the price of groceries is like out of control. Amazon Prime Day is like having horrible performances compared to expectations. So there really is a tale of two cities when it comes to the economy in the United States right now. One that I don't particularly understand or even pretend to try to understand. So yeah, NVIDIA is killing it and people are having a tough time like making ends meet. Okay, let's go here. Look at that, I finished right on time. All right, guys, I want to thank all of you for being here. Genuinely appreciate it. This has been episode 917 of your Simply Cyber Daily Cyber Threat Brief podcast. I was your host, Dr. Gerald Auger, the same guy who poured coffee directly onto his computer. Not everyone can pull that move off. Thank you so very much. If you got to get out of here, go on. I hope people had fun with the bingo. I did not see anyone scream bingo in chat, so we'll continue that into jaw-jacking. Jaw-jacking is a 30-minute AMA on Fridays. We do a panel, which is super exceptional. We've got a great panel of experts lined up for you, ready to answer all your questions. I'm super excited. I'll stand out of the way and just facilitate. Want to remind you, if you are a member of the Simply Cyber Discord at 1 p.m. Eastern today, we will be doing a private AMA live on Discord. So it won't be recorded, it won't be televised or anything like that. So if you'd like to come get your questions answered or just carouse with other Simply Cyber community members, we do that once a month as well. I'm Jerry from Simply Cyber. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to usher you over to Jaw Jack. And until next time, Ever wonder what it takes to break into cybersecurity? Join us every weekday for Jawjacking, where industry experts answer your burning questions about the cybersecurity field. Live, unfiltered, and totally free. Let's level up together. It's time for some Jawjacking. All right, what's up, everybody? Because I'm running my camera through OBS, I can't just go regular camera. The good news is I was able to change my microphone, so our panel won't be listening to themselves in an echo. I'm Jerry Guy. This is Jawjacking. It's Friday, which means we got a panel. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let me introduce you to your panel as it's currently constituted. We'll add more if it makes sense, ladies and gentlemen. You know him as the App State, the man who beat Michigan. Ladies and gentlemen, Fleetus Poston. How you doing, Fleetus?
Happy Friday, everyone.
All right, love it, love it, love it. Also, you know her as Kathy Chambers. She goes by Kathy Chambers. Her kids call her mom. Ladies and gentlemen, Kathy Chambers.
Hey, guys. Nice to be here.
It's great to have you on the panel, Kathy. First time on panel?
Yeah, first time on panel. This is cool.
All right, hold on. Well, I have my microphone changed, so I can't do the woo sound effect, but I will manually sound effect it for you. All right, guys, here's the deal. Drop your questions in chat. Oh, we got a fourth member here in the panel. Oh my God, Monster Energy Zone. This guy is probably got a warrant out for his arrest for what he did on 4th of July with 3 different monsters in a big gulp. Ladies and gentlemen, Daniel Lowry.
Good morning, everyone. How are you doing?
Love it. Good to see you. So here's the protocol, everyone. Drop your questions in chat. Put a Q in front of it. I'll know it's for the panel, and I will facilitate what's going on. The Pain wants to know how my computer takes its coffee. Much like myself, just black. It would prefer it to be less liquidy, but that is what it is.
I have to apologize to the Pain.
Okay.
So this is kind of a PSA for Antisyphon. So I didn't come here to talk about Antisyphon, but our workshops, Jerry, you have to register for our workshops by 10 p.m. the night before. So we can get you the VMs and all the information. And so the Pain wanted to register for Bose today, and he could not because registration's closed. So I am sorry. And to everybody, Jerry did not know that. We have not communicated that with Jerry. So now Jerry knows. For our Pay What You Can workshops, you have to register by 10 p.m. the night before. So very sorry.
Yeah. Thank you for that PSA. Yeah, thank you for that PSA, Kathy. I didn't realize that. Here's the thing. Antisyphon is a sponsor of the show, and they basically just sponsor the whole year. So I take a lot of liberties with, like, there's like a basic ad read, but like I'm trying to tell people like what's cooking like this week. And so thanks for the heads up, Kathy.
Sorry,
we move quick and break things here. All right. So first of all, let me ask Fleetus, how you been? How's things going, dude?
Doing well. I survived South America. Glad to be back.
All right, there we go. Back at it. Daniel Lowry, your 4th of July. How was your stream?
Oh man, it was epic. That pour was crazy. So I'm sitting at my desk, right, and I've got the 3 monsters. This is before I start the stream, and I'm like, oh man, I might have bitten off more I could chew with this. How am I going to pour 3 cans at the same time? But I finagled it. I made it happen, and it was delicious. My mom happened to be here. She was hanging out with my wife in the house and, hanging out with the kids and everything. And they watched a bit of it. My mom goes, is it really good? I go, well, here, I got plenty of it left. I got this giant jug of triple poured monster. And she tasted, she's like, that's good. I'm like, yeah, it kind of is.
I also like to think that your mom's like, this is my son. Like he gets in front of a bunch of people on the internet and pours liquids. Okay. All right.
Yeah. Not on my PC though.
No. That's next level. Okay, that is next level.
You're setting the bar, Jerry.
I love it. So first question coming in hot. Haircut Fish says, what kind of cyber person should study GRC? Honestly, I think GRC benefits every part of cybersecurity, whether you're a SOC analyst, a red teamer, obviously a GRC person. Understanding how security integrates with the business is huge. And one thing that I want to share that I had a realization just recently when I was coming up in cybersecurity, I remember thinking like, oh, like, just let me do my thing. Like, oh, like, leave me alone. And, oh, you should understand how the business makes money. Yeah, sure, whatever. Get out of my way. Like, I'm busy doing cyber stuff. In reality, like, you really are there to facilitate the business and the business operations. And once you kind of like wrap your head around what your cog is in the bigger machine, you're actually able to be more effective and have a better appreciation for, cyber security. And actually, you get a little bit more grease on the things that you're trying to do because the business sees that you understand what the business is as well. Fleetus, any thoughts on the kind of person that should study GRC? I feel like you got a hot take here.
Yeah, I do. Been focusing on this a good bit, so just completed some GRC training myself, but I've also been tackling the GRC analyst to GRC engineer front. I think this is an important topic that we need to get into. Our audits, after you get past your administrative controls, should all be pulled via an API or code. Your auditor and your GRC analyst should not be asking for screenshots in 2025, especially from a cloud console. You should be pulling these via an API. You should be pulling this to your CI/CD pipeline, and these should be piped into a JSON file that's given to your auditor. And your auditor should be smart enough from an engineering background to be able to parse that JSON file and get out of just using spreadsheets. So that's my hot take. I think it's important that we think through how do we move away from analyst to engineering when it comes to GRC.
All right, there we go. Getting more digital. I love it. Oh, a lot of GRC questions today, guys. Are you flirting with me,
bingo.
chat? What's
I think
that?
it's bingo. I think they're trying to fill their bingo.
Oh,
Jerry's so sad now.
We just thought GRC had gotten hot.
Yeah, I thought GRC had its day in the sun, but in reality,
HAWT hot.
Such a brutal. All right, well, Alpha Sierra, I'll still answer your question. Actually, Kathy, Alpha Sierra wants to get some GRC help. Any thoughts on where Alpha Sierra could go?
Well, I mean, shameless plug for Jerry, Simply Cyber Academy. And I will tell you, Fleetus, I don't know where you went for your GRC training, but there are not a lot of options out there. When I first met Jerry, like 3-4 years ago, I was looking for GRC just to see, what he did compared to what other people did. There was hardly nothing, like literally nothing. I will say Jerry kind of started the trend because I do see it pop up now. And then there is some training on YouTube outside of Jerry, and it's not as good as his. And I'm not just saying that because he's my friend. That's part of my job, just so you guys know, is I watch other people's training to compare it to our training. So I know what our competition is in the market. And so I would say start with Simply Cyber Academy first. And then go to YouTube and, kind of look at that training as well. You can never have too much knowledge. That's what I always tell people. Don't stick with one training. I highly encourage you to try everybody's training because somebody may train differently than another person. And you may be like, oh, I like that instructor more than this instructor. They can really speak to me. So I encourage you to try everything, but I would start with Simply Cyber Academy for sure.
Thank you very much, Kathy. And I'm super pumped that that's the case. Like I said, I started 3-4 years ago with the goal of making GRC socially acceptable. And we planted the flag in the Operation Desert Storm, mission accomplished across the aircraft carrier last year. We got a couple questions coming in here. Let's see. The viewer says, I want to get into GRC. God, GRC, you guys are just the best. I could just use ChatGPT to help me with documentation, proofreading, etc. Real quick, yeah, you should be using AI to help facilitate any work you're doing, not replace you, but definitely facilitate it. Daniel Lowry getting some love from Space Tacos in lurker mode. She says, what's your personal record for number of monsters you've consumed in a single day?
Oh, probably 5 or 6.
Oh
there was a time I had a real problem. I gotta be honest with you, where my wife was like, "You think that's okay for you to drink all those?" I'm like, "I don't know. They sure are tasty." And then, like literally, maybe a month later, I read some article that they did a study on how it increases your likelihood of having a stroke by like 700%. I was like, maybe I should pump the brakes on this whole monster gig. So I started. I went down to 1 a day. And then it was 1 a week. And then I started to be like, well, I can make that a part of the show. It's really, I was doing it back when I was doing Technado. That was when I had my monster. I would do it on that show. And I was like, well, now that that's gone and I have my own show, I was like, I could continue, like kind of bring some of those things, those vestiges over to Cybercast IRL, and that's where that started.
Daniel, you know that if you have like a stroke live on your show, we're all going to be like, "Oh, is that monster? He should have put that monster down."
He did it. He did it. He even warned himself. He's a prophet.
Oh, good. Yeah, no. And like Monster Energy is like just about to hit send on that sponsorship deal, and now they're like resending it.
Yeah.
Also, I have a real time look at this is Daniel Lowry.
Hey, man, did you hack my webcam?
Monsters.
Yeah, it's getting close to time. He knows it.
That was back when I was on the gram, man. I posted Insta all day.
Oh my goodness.
I love
Somebody
it.
was asking if this is a Kathy and Daniel reunion.
It kind of is.
Kind of is for a show, right? Like for a live
we
show.
don't do live stuff anymore.
No, we've been talking about doing live stuff together. So stand by, coming soon. I'm just waiting on Daniel to get his stuff together.
That's what we do here at Simply Cyber. We try to bring together these superpowers. It's like Wonder Twins, right?
Yeah. Well, we work together now, just so everybody knows. So we left one place together and went to another place together.
I literally talked to Kathy yesterday for like an hour.
Yeah.
I want everyone to know really quickly that DJ Bisek spent a lot of time last night getting his OBS set up, and now he's like taking his rec ball and leaving about not coming on the channel because the panel's full. Just so everyone knows, I have officially invited DJ Bisek to come on here, and he's deciding that he's
throwing the double birds.
Yeah.
Put those down.
All right. What advice would you give to someone who's completed a cyber boot camp? I'm currently studying to take CompTIA Sec Plus Cert. Daniel Lowry, go.
What advice would you give someone who just completed a cyber boot camp studying? Okay, so obviously at the boot camp it was fire hose time, and you were there with your little camo cup, just trying to catch as much as you possibly could for all its sweet security goodness. So you're going to need to, hopefully you took really good notes, and you're going to turn those notes into documents. You're going to take those notes, you're going to flesh them out, you're going to work through them, and that is going to be a really good way of solidifying all that. And then you're going to take those notes that are now really good documents, and you're going to build labs, and you're going to get some hands-on with it, and you're going to have some fun, because that's the fun part of it. And when you're filling out, like, when you're building your little Active Directory domain to do something, you're going to use funny names like, Eddie Van Halen's domain and whatever, to have some fun, make sure that you're having fun with it. And that is going to be what's going to help you, like, take all those concepts and stuff that you learned in that boot camp and what you're studying with that Sec Plus, and you're going to apply it. Then you're going to do things like watch Jerry's show every day at the Daily Threat Brief, and you're going to try to apply all those concepts that you've learned to what Jerry's talking about. And Jerry does a pretty good job of this, so he's going to be helping you out throughout the entire show. But you need to be going, okay, well, what part of the CIA triad does this touch? What part of, whatever, is this AppSec? Is this network security? Is that what is this? Should I be looking at vulnerability management with this? What about asset discovery? Could that have helped with that? What are these concepts that I'm learning, and how do they apply in a real world environment? That's why I constantly tell people, you need to be reading the news every day, and then taking what you know or what you've learned or things that you are learning, and see, how does that work in a real life scenario? Well, if I were consulting on this, what would I be telling this clients? Because ultimately that's what you're going to end up doing. Or if you work for them, they're going to want to know, how the heck did this happen? Why don't we? Well, here's the thing, boss. We never came up with a policy and or procedure for how we should be doing updates. Therefore, the updates fell behind. And because of that, we're getting popped with this new FTP thing, because we like to take a hot minute before we apply something, because, updates break stuff. Yeah, they break hacks. That's what they end up breaking. Do they break things sometimes? Yes, that happens. That's why we do testing. But these are the kind of things that you learn when you go to these boot camps, you take courses and stuff, and now it's time to apply it. It's time, as my friend Adam Gordon used to say, synthesize and apply, right? So it was one thing I heard him say a million times and was really good, was take that information and you need to synthesize and apply, because that's how it stays locked in. So that's my advice.
There you go. And
Can I add some advice?
Yeah, go for it, Kathy.
So Daniel's right as far as, like, so you actually know what you're talking about, right? You're just not a test taker. You're actually understanding what the test is about. But I also want to add, like, take practice tests. I saw a post the other day with somebody saying that you shouldn't take practice tests. I think that is terrible advice.
Oh my God, that's horrible advice.
The practice test, because I'm not going to say they're trying to trick you, but sometimes Sometimes it feels like they're trying to trick you. So you need to learn the wording and learn what they're trying to get the answer. Jesse Johnson, I'm going to give him a plug. Is it Saturday, Jesse? I think it's Saturday. He does that. He goes through those questions for you, which is incredible. So you can join Jesse on Saturdays and listen to those questions and how they're worded. So you kind of get an idea of what the test is looking for. And then also spend the $10. I think it's like $10 to get like 5 practice tests or something. Spend the $10. It's worth it. And take those practice tests and just get used to. I'm a terrible test taker. So that's why I'm preaching this. Like, take the practice test so you understand. And then also, of course, do what Daniel said so you know what the heck you're doing, like what you're talking about and how to apply it.
Yeah, don't memorize.
Yeah, don't memorize.
One other hot take there. Discuss it. Have someone else discuss it with you, like kind of to both of their point. Take the test, but also discuss the questions. Ask questions. Hey, I stumbled on this. How did you come about it? What was your perspective? Why is this the answer? So decompressing, similar to what Jesse does and others, like take the question and learn why you got it wrong. Not just you got it wrong. Why is it wrong? And that way, when you take the test again, you understand what point of view, what context. So yeah, lexicons are tough. Every test bank is different. Every testing center likes to ask questions weirdly. So take test questions, review test banks, and just ask for help. You can't share questions from a test, but you can discuss the test. Like you can say, hey, this is the topics I took. This is how the topic's worded. This is the multiple choice. This was the fill in the blank. This is the drag and drop. This was the Cyber Live or the real world VM that they used. And this is how you use the VM in the browser. Like learning how to use in browser VMs. Most of us don't do that outside of a test. Like we are starting to with capture the flags, but we don't do that on a regular basis. We install the VM in a Docker or Kubernetes versus using a browser-based VM.
All right, love it. We got a lot of questions to get to, so let's keep cooking here. Question for Kathy. Kathy, Kyle wants to know, what advice would you give to people just starting college for IT?
So, fun fact, a lot of our universities, it takes years sometimes for them to get approval to add new courses. So even though you think you're taking the latest since it's a major university, it's not. So they have to like apply to the state. It's like this whole thing. There's like committees and just to get a course through. So by the time the course gets through, it could be several years old. So I recommend like junior college. Don't spend your money on a big university for general IT. Go to junior college first and get your general IT. And then as you're going through those programs, maybe during the summer, spring break, etc., then that's when you start studying for certifications that are up to date. I'm a big believer in college, and I do think you should have I shouldn't say you should have to have a degree. I think it helps you get jobs and helps you get your foot in the door. So I would highly recommend starting at junior college, get your general IT there, supplement it with certifications, and then do all the other things that everybody on this panel talks about every week. But that's what I would do. Just be careful with just thinking that's all you need, because you always need more.
Thank you, Kathy. Fleetus, DC, excuse me, just completed a boot camp, currently studying to take Sec Plus. What advice do you give to this person where they are in their journey at this point? And then I'm going to welcome DJ BSec. I'm sorry, DJ. I had these things lined up. Sorry. Please.
We just did this one, Jerry.
I was going to say, we did this question.
We just did this one.
Oh, did we? I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen.
And you pretty much told us to wrap it up.
No, I know. I'm sorry. People forget that I am producing, facilitating. I'm doing a bunch of things here.
Hi, DJ BSec.
DJ BSec, how are you on your birthday, sir? You're looking great for 29.
Birthday. Yeah. Happy birthday.
Yep.
Is this your 20th anniversary of your 29th birthday?
Yeah. Wow, that would make me like what? Almost 100?
I don't do math. I don't know. A lot of years.
It'd be like 120. No, I am a ripe old age of 46 today.
Looking good, man. I love it. I love it. Well, let's throw a question at you and see how you handle it with your 46-year-old brain. Looking to pivot from help desk to cyber. He's got a lot of certs, including SSCP, Sec Plus, ITIL. How much more will a degree help him? That's a good question.
I'm not going to say a degree in itself is going to help you in this. This is going to be the classic person that's got a whole bunch of experience and trying to move from one spot to the other. If you're in a company that already has a department that does cyber, go sit over there and talk with them. Show your interest. You being here shows that you're part of a community. So now that you're part of the community, you're creating your network to be able to find people in places that have jobs opening. Unfortunately, right now, it does seem like the job market is down, especially when it comes to cybersecurity and hiring and IT in itself. It might be a little rough for a while.
There you go. Unfortunately, but sometimes the truth is not awesome, and that's the reality right now. The job market is kind of dodgy, which is why, as always, I say you should be working as the CEO of you. You should not be doing it. You should not be reactive. Okay, please be proactive with all these things. Invest in yourself so you can reap the dividends when it comes. Fleetus Guy wants to know, and thanks, Guy, for using the exclamation point Q. 30-year IT guy, IT manager, 10 years, a few health issues. Okay. Looking to get back into tech. So he took a little bit of a hiatus, but he had like clearly a long career in IT. Wants to get into cyber. What do you recommend here?
So network. We talked about it here. Come to these communities, learn what we're talking about. As Daniel said earlier, and others, study up on the news, be able to talk about those when you get into your interviews, because you will get into interviews at some point. It may not be the right interview. Just a reminder again, every interview is an opportunity to interview. May not be the job that you want. You are there to learn and to grow. So make sure that you have stories to tell and have opportunities. Use your network from your IT career. Go back to those companies. Go talk to those individuals. What do you know is open? Do you have an opening in your current org? What is your current problems? These are two questions I've been asking in my interview since I'm in the middle of trying to find work myself. What problems are you trying to solve, and what do you need from me today? Like, what are you asking? Why are you filling this role? Learn why they're filling this role. Is it a vacancy or is it a net new role? And then talk about your past experiences and how you'll add value. If it's a net new role, of how you built roles. If it's a replacement, why did the person leave? Did they get promoted? Did they move on? Did they retire, et cetera? So have a well-rounded response for all of those questions as you're getting in the network. Don't just blanket apply. Blanket applying will not get you into this field. Sorry.
There you go. Oh my God, I love this next question. Trey asks,
real quick on the last one. That's a question that we get all the time,
Friday,
every day, every day, not just every Friday, every day. Everybody's always asking, whether it's if you're on stream with Jesse talking, you're somewhere else. That's a question that gets popped all the time. Nobody here and nobody out there is going to be able to give you that gold answer that you're going to turn around, walk out, and get a job. The thing is you put in the work, you create your network, you work on it, you find the people that do what you want to do, you work with them, you show the interest, and it comes to fruition. I think it was earlier this week, I've heard recruiters saying, just throwing out your resume now, no, it's not one of those things. You're not going to be able to just throw a resume out to somebody and be like, hey, here's my resume. I'm trying to get hired for the job that you just posted. The people that are getting the jobs are the people that are within not necessarily within the industry, but are within that realm of people and have that network. Like, if you want to go, maybe you like BHIS and you want to go work at you got to know all the people at BHIS and they understand you and they see what you do. You've created your own portfolio and they see that you have the work experience behind you. You've got to, I hate saying it, but I don't want to BS people, but you have to put in the work to get the positions. And I guess that's the old man coming out now.
Yeah, that is the 46 right there. If you'd asked this question yesterday, you would have got a different answer, but now he's yelling at clouds.
No, but I just want to second that, how much work it is to build a network. That is a whole job in itself. Even if you have to set aside a certain amount of hours a week, just making contacts on LinkedIn, try to hit up your local B-sides. I know that you hear these guys talk about that a lot, but it's work. It's a lot of work. It can be mentally draining trying to build your network. I had to do it. It took me a good, probably 2 years to get in the circle. And it's not like it's a club and people aren't going to welcome you into the club. Like, everybody in cybersecurity is super cool. But they got to get to know you, and just behind a keyboard's not going to work. Like you gotta start talking to people. I mean, that's how I got my job at BHIS and Antisyphon. 100% is because of who I knew. Not saying my job experience didn't help. That helped. But also it's with, who I knew. And the same thing with Daniel Lowry. Daniel Lowry has a long history of being an instructor. But if it wasn't for me and Zach, who knows if he would be where he is today. So, I mean, it's really important to build your network.
Yeah, I want to add one other
100%.
thing, and then we can move on. Let people know you. Comment. Intentional, thoughtful comments on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Make sure that you're engaged to engage because you care and you want to learn and you want to grow, not just to get your name out there. It's very hard, looking at me as a hiring manager, for someone just to say, hey, I met you once. Can you get me a job? But when they haven't done anything other than they've met me once or they've listened to this podcast, ask about me, flatter me, do something to show that you've done some research when you get into an interview.
Good, Fleeta.
Flatter me. I like that.
Oh, stop.
Oh, come on. Tell me
Oh,
more
no.
about how great I am. I mean, it
To be
works for
honest,
me.
affirmation goes a long way in our field. People want to be affirmed. Like you want to be affirmed as a candidate. I want to be affirmed as your hiring manager, as a leader, as a thought leader, etc. So if you come into an interview, research the person you're interviewing. Most recruiters will tell you, they'll give you their LinkedIn or they'll give you something. Go learn about them. If they're a military person, thank them for their service. If they worked in healthcare, thank them for that. Find a way to connect with them so that you sound like an employee, not a candidate, because you know enough about the organization and the individual that you're interviewing with.
Yeah, and as a hiring manager, as somebody that interviews, if I'm interviewing for a job and I know Kathy and I've seen her resume and I know what she can do and I talk to her all the time and she comes in and then I have HR gave me a resume of somebody that I have no clue of and they have pretty much the same experience, I know Kathy. I know she's going to work. So I'll pull her in.
Oh, thanks.
That is what it is, yeah. And I mean, just a final thing. This is why I say all the time, you've got to be the proactive and the CEO of you. Like, I think everybody said a lot of good stuff, but like Kathy's point that it takes time to build a network is not to be forgotten or lost on this whole conversation. It's not that. Unfortunately, I see this all too often. Okay, someone gets laid off, and then they're like, "Oh, I should start networking. I should start doing these things." And it's like, you should,
Yes.
but like you're way behind you're way behind it now. You know,
You're about
so,
6 months behind.
Well, right, because if you start, I've said this. We've had this question. I think we've mentioned this. We've had this question a million times. We get it all the time, and it doesn't change. If you're not starting now, I don't care whether you're working at a truck stop or as a delivery driver or doing whatever, or you're in IT and you're looking to move to cyber. It does not matter where you are at. If you are not preparing the next step and the next evolution in your career by making contacts, networking with people, getting certs, building skills, reading the news, and engaging, and not in some superficial way, in a real way where you actually, I think to Fleetus's point, where you're reaching out to people and you're saying, hey, I really enjoyed that, right? This was a really great thing. This is what I got out of it. And building actual relationships with people that you find interesting and helpful. And I also like the flattery part. I've noticed that there are, well, not everyone in this.
Now that I think about it, I really
tech
love
is a
when people love
neckbeard.
me.
Well, it's not that everyone's a neckbeard, but everybody's got a little bit of stubble on their neck, where they like to feel like at least you recognize that I am smart and I do this because I have an IQ. Like we do enjoy a little bit, not just a spoonful of flattery never hurt anybody, right? So. I actually that's a true statement, and you like it or not, and whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent doesn't matter. It's a thing, and you got to be ready for it. You got to be able to talk that talk and be able to become a known entity. And once you do that and you've built that thing, as soon as you become available, people start going, well, let me put my head to it. You're somebody that I already know. You're a known thing, right? Like DJ was saying. If he knows Kathy and he doesn't know this person, they got everything else is identical. I'm going to go with the known entity because I know Kathy. I know her. I can, she's so much more easily dropped in and will fit in because I already know that she can. I don't know whether or not the other person could. Why wouldn't you go with that? Right.
Well, and it's not
That's
just, can they do the job? It's, are they going to fit with the team? Right.
Right.
So I already know,
You have to have the
we get along and we
skills.
can talk. So there
Right.
we go. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if Kathy didn't have the skills, obviously we would not think of her for the role. But because I know her and I know she has the skills, that's a no-brainer, right? So that's what you got to be.
Jerry, I saw you pop one up from Taekwondo Gong about what about being an introvert?
Yeah, as part of this conversation.
The biggest, you're an introvert, but you're sitting here and you're asking questions. You can do that. You don't need to throw your face on the screen to be part of a community. You're talking, you're giving out information. So when somebody asks a question, you're able to answer the question. You're building your own portfolio, whether it's on GitHub or your own website or creating YouTube. So like there's many ways to be able to be part of a network and create a network, even if you're an introvert. You don't. Everybody doesn't have to be flamboyant and go crazy.
I would also expect that, and because how many of us here would identify at some level of introversion, right?
Everybody.
Everyone here, right? We're
Kathy's
all
like, not me.
That's kind of what. No, Kathy's the only. She's the.
I don't
she's
even
the exception to the
understand what that
rule.
word means now.
She's the outlier, right? But if you're an IT person, like that's where you got your start, you probably have some level of introversion. But if you get kicked off of something that you're really excited about, all of a sudden you become this like situational extrovert, right? As soon as I get you talking about something you're excited about, I'll see your eyes widen, you perk right up, and you start talking. So make sure that if you are having to have conversations, that you bring to the table some of those things that you know are going to make you excited to be speaking on and that you know about. And it gets to like showcase you. Those are the kind of things that are going to help you get over that introversion because you love that stuff.
Yeah,
and that passion is going to help you.
Being in the community, you see everybody else talk, you see what's going on, you see the conversation, so you understand, maybe you have no clue what the two people are talking about, but as you read that conversation, you learn what they're talking about. Then 2 days later, somebody asks the same question. Now you have learned it, and now you can provide them with the answers. So it goes without saying. You can do a whole bunch of stuff, even as an introvert.
I want to come at it from a different point of view too. Like when I interview, it's okay if you're introverted. Like I know technically if you're if you're not customer facing, I don't need you to be bubbly. I don't need you to have high energy. I don't need you to be able to do things. I need you to be technical. I need to be able to trust you to speak up. So I'm going to work on that soft skill with you. But certain introverts make very good engineers. Like I always used to joke, how do I know if you're an introvert or an extrovert? You look at my shoes when you're talking versus yours. Like it's a bad joke, but I know that you're at least trying to look at me versus just looking down. At the same time, like to Daniel's point, once you're passionate, you start talking, you start acting, and it doesn't matter you're extrovert or introverted, shy, outgoing, you're going to speak up because you're passionate about something and you're going to act on it. Action is what gets you through this field because we have to be actionable every single day because this isn't like doing math. This is not accounting where it's the same thing over and over again. There's a new pivot that you have to do every single day to stay abreast.
Awesome. I love it. Okay, so we got a couple questions in here. A little bit of a lightning round. While people are answering, I'm actually going to download the sound effect that plays when a period ends in an NHL playoff game. And after 1 minute, I'm going to play that sound. Okay. Okay. So Trey Black wants to know, and he reiterated this in chat because he's fighting with the Agile team, which I didn't even realize there was an Agile team. But is it possible that Agile, while not inherently flawed, introduces unnecessary risk or becomes counterproductive in cybersecurity context?
100%.
Okay, so go ahead,
Yes.
BSEC, answer this.
Take the word Agile. What is it? You're going full bore and trying to get this stuff in and out as fast as possible. And guess what? When stuff like that happens, cyber risk gets introduced. There you go. Lightning round, quick and easy.
I didn't even get the sound effect up. Hold on 1 second.
I'll go with it too. Like most Agile is still waterfall.
Yeah,
like
it's a
of them,
waggle.
There's still a checkpoint. There's still a delivery. There's still a customer call. And that's where it gets unnecessary. You can say you have a Kanban board and you're running sprints, but your sprints still run 6 months. That's not Agile. That's a waterfall.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I worked in Agile for a long time. I just want to point out really quickly, if people are not committing to the Agile, like what is on the sprint, like if you're just adding crap to the sprint while you're in the middle of the sprint, you're not actually doing Agile. You can point that out as, what are we doing here?
Yeah, this is a bigger topic.
Yeah, it's a much bigger topic. Hopefully that helps you, Trey. All right, we got this is a around the panel, so I'll facilitate. What's your hottest hot takes, InfoSec related? I'll go first, and then I'm going to go to Daniel, then Kathy, then Fleetus, then DJ Bisek. My hottest hot take around this is that, I mean, it's not super hot take because people say it all the time, but like people get all geeked up about like the biggest, newest thing. And there's a lot of money being thrown around next gen and zero trust and single pane and all this other crap every season. But like MFA and patching, like if you just do the basic fundamentals, you'll actually secure your organization pretty good. And it pisses me off that money basically pushes the industry to do things that are not best practice first.
Marketing.
Yeah, marketing. Yeah, Daniel, go.
I'm going to say, I don't care whether you need to know it or not. You should learn programming because it's good for you.
There you go. Kathy.
I pass. Let me think of one.
Cletus.
Yeah, so the thing that gets me, and I kind of alluded to earlier, is that we're not evolving and we're still in the mindset that my job can't be automated. We need to work on automating almost every single one of our jobs. I gave the hot take earlier of the GRC analyst to engineer. I want our auditors and our GRC people having an engineering background. I want you to understand what cloud is. I want you to know what ML AI is. I want you to understand CI/CD pipelines. You don't have to do it day in and day out. I'm not asking you to be a software development, but you need to run playbooks, run books that you can do to collect your evidence and stop asking your SREs, your site reliability engineers, to take screenshots of the cloud.
DJ Bisek.
My hot take is stop running away from AI. Use it. It's there. It's a tool. Everybody, for the last month and a half, I keep hearing everybody go, oh, AI is going to take my job. AI will not take your job if you know how to use it, if you learn it. Guess what? For those developers that have been developing for the last 5 to 10 years that have crap code, the code works and the application works, but it's unsecure. You can now throw that code into AI and it will help you secure that code. Like, lean into AI and use it as a tool. Don't run from it. I scored.
We're working on it. Kathy, next question. Primary Joe Mail or Gmail wants to know which role in cyber is good for work-life balance and straight cash, homie.
Is there one? There's not. I know you guys are all laughing. It's like a 24-hour. So I come from a breaking news background, right? So my life has always been 24-hour. And I thought maybe going into cybersecurity, maybe it would change a little. It hasn't. So being in cybersecurity is like being in breaking news. Like it is always happening. It's a 24-hour job. I think that the work-life balance comes from you having to set those expectations with whoever you're working for.
Yep.
Right. Like I am willing to work hard for you. I'm willing to be here, but I got to take a vacation. I got to, I have to cut off after 10 hours so I can actually see my family. You have to set those. Your boss isn't going to do it. If you say, I'm going to work all weekend, they're not going to be like, oh no, take the weekend off. You deserve it.
But they should. That's the problem. They should. You should have a boss that says, no, stop.
100%. But when you're just getting into the field, sometimes you don't have that pool, right? You don't have that yet. So don't let people take advantage of you. I think you have to set the work-life balance 100%. I haven't been in GRC. I feel like that may give you a little bit more balance than others. But Jerry would have to speak to that. And money takes a while. Don't think that you're going to make money your first 1 to 5 years, probably.
Yeah, you should definitely talk to
someone. It's going to take a good 5 years or more for you to actually make money. And that's any career.
Yep.
That's not just cybersecurity.
Yeah. And you can make more money by switching jobs. I wouldn't do it faster than every 2 years. Personally, that's my bag. But the first couple of years, you're way more likely to make more money jumping jobs than you are trying to get a salary bump internally.
Yeah, really, really quick on that. I think it was Heath Adams and maybe Daniel remembers this, but I think it was Heath Adams at a Wild West Hacking Fest when he was talking. And he said like the average for pen testers was 18 months. Like every 18 months they're switching jobs. I feel like that is what I remember being shocked by like, wow, every 18 months. And it's not that they were actually unhappy with what they were doing. It's that they were chasing the higher salaries. Yeah.
Fleetus, DP had a question. Now, I have a video on the channel around GRC portfolios, but you mentioned GRC engineering earlier and DevOps and JSON and stuff like that. So give DP a portfolio project and give all of us one if you would.
Yeah. So I alluded already. So AWS collections. You're asked by your auditor to prove that you have guard duty or something turned on. Instead of going into the GUI, you can run CLI commands and output those and output it to a JSON and give that to them. You don't need screenshots. So you can automate this inside of a pipeline. So write a CI/CD pipeline to collect evidence from a cloud. So spin up some instances, get the API keys, generate put them in a vault. So learning how to use vaulting so you're not putting keys into your code. So you're learning multiple skills. You're learning how to call from a vault. You're learning how to write a piece of Terraform or CloudFormation. And you're collecting evidence into a JSON file that's not a JPEG or PNG. And there's still times that you need a screenshot. There's administrative controls. But the technical controls can be collected via a pipeline. So learn pipelines.
I'm really just wanting to send you a bunch of screenshots.
Do it.
I was going to say, are we
very on that today?
I was going to say, do we really need to put everything in a vault?
Hey, he asked me to answer the portfolio question, so I'm answering the portfolio question.
I love it. Thank
I
you
have a
very much.
follow-up though. Like, where does somebody start? I feel like since a lot of you have been in the business for a really long time, you just assume people know.
Yeah. So
where's ground zero?
Ground
You start where you're
I
at.
want to do
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
So ground zero is start what you know, ask
Right.
questions, and then start peeling the onion. So the first layer is, what is a computer? How do you turn it on? What is a ones and zero? What is a network? How do you do networking? What is TCP versus UDP? Learn the protocols. Get the base down. So it's a base IT knowledge. Then start to specialize. Is it AWS? Is it GCP? Is it Azure? Then inside of those, is it on the engineering side? Is it on the operation side? Is it the security side? There's so many blades that you can start peeling, but your base is just getting to understand of what is an endpoint, your laptop, desktop, what is a server, cloud or serverless, and then start peeling that onion to go deeper into it. And then when you audit, you'll learn, am I a cloud auditor? Do I do SaaS audits or do I want to do on-prem audit? And your company will develop that with you. They're going to put certain resources who are SaaS based, so software as a service companies, or if they're fully on-prem, like a government where they need data center audits. It's a different type of audit when you're fully on-prem versus hybrid or fully SaaS.
Before the buzzer sounds, I would take this question and I would throw it into ChatGPT or AI and say, what can I
100%.
give me something to create? And because I don't know how to create it, give me a step-by-step on how to do this. And there it goes. And it'll start teaching you how to do it. Now you've created the portfolio, you've created and you've learned by step.
Yeah.
And anything that it spits out, you can go, hey, I don't know. I don't necessarily know what this means. Tell me what this means.
To Kathy's point, learn what GitHub or GitLab is. Those are your two repos that most people use. Learn what GitHub is, learn what GitLab is, if you're going to put code out there.
And there's tons of free things.
Yeah, and
we're not listening to this buzzer because there's a ton of free things out there
We're
that
not
you do.
listening
Like
to this buzzard.
We're
going into overtime, baby.
You take your buzzer and you stick it.
Jerry has lost us.
Jerry has the wrong channel today.
It's my birthday. It's my birthday, and I'll do what I want. Yeah, there it is. So, hey, real quick, all these things are wonderful, what they're talking about, but I would recommend not this isn't even like ground zero. This is to Kathy's point. So when Kathy said where to start, like I would recommend getting like a blog, like have somewhere to put all of this stuff. That way you can start pointing to it and referencing it and linking back on socials. If your goal is to just post on LinkedIn as you do things, that's ephemeral. Someone looking you up in a year, 6 months, 8 months, they're not going to see any of that. You're going to look like you've done nothing. So just heads up. Now, really quickly, I do want to take a moment and pay homage to our elders. Now, I'm not talking about DJ Bisek, which you may be thinking. Let's talk about Daniel Lowry. I'm probably older than him, actually. But
we are. We're older than him, Jerry.
I know.
I know the gray beard fools you.
I know. Daniel Lowry is going to have to boogie out of here in a hot minute, as usual. He's always leaving before we have to clean up. Daniel, why don't you tell us what's coming up for you?
Oh yeah, we've got Cybercast IRL right after this at 10 o'clock. So if any of you would be willing to join me there, I'd be glad to have you. It's going to be a lot of fun. I have some big tea to spill today. Got some interesting updates.
At least it's not coffee.
I was going to say, if you need coffee, I can come over.
Yeah, I'm going to spill the monster today. So you got to show up to find out what's going on. But if I were you, I would come and hear what I got to say because I think it's pretty exciting. And it happened like in a flash last night, midnight. And I'm sending it's crazy. You're going to love it. Jump over to Cybercast IRL in about, I don't know, 12 or 13 minutes.
Damn,
And we're
going to
have some interesting news for you. Yeah.
That's a tease.
Oh my God! So
So-
don't blame me for being thirsty, then, Daniel. When I'm like in your stream,
It's gonna be
ahead,
fun.
I have gone ahead and pinned the link to Daniel's live stream on Google YouTube chat right now. So if you're in YouTube and you're watching this, the pinned comment will take you directly to his stream. And right before we end the show, I'll pin it again so everyone can get some of that. So Daniel, if you got a boogie out here, we appreciate having you. Otherwise, you're welcome to stay as long as you want.
All right, brother. I'm going to bounce, so I got to get ready. So I'll see you guys in just a bit.
No problem. Hey, really quickly, just a programming note. I do see some people unhappy with the bingo. There was talk about someone having one. I don't know the name. I couldn't find the bingo card aligned with the YouTube name for that person. So let me know if you think you have bingo. Drop it in chat what your card says. There's some people who are saying there's some kind of deprecated bingo.
Yeah, we need to update.
Yeah, we will update. I'll take that for action. I've just been a little busy, so I haven't fixing the bingo card hasn't elevated to the level of priority, but I should fix it. Okay.
I mean, and if you're unhappy with the bingo card, you're having a really good day. If that's your
Yes, exactly. Let's
that's
see.
your biggest complaint at 9:49 Eastern. You're doing really well.
Let's do 30 seconds on John's question. He just applied for a role internally at Cyber. Any advice on what to prepare for as a cyber analyst? So I'm assuming he's not in cyber right now, so we'll assume maybe IT. He says, I'm working using my Works Splunk Enterprise for vulnerability scans and remediation. So he is kind of working in cyber. He's doing vulnerability scans. I didn't realize Splunk did vulnerability scanning. That's kind of new to me. So I guess, what do you think, guys?
I'll take first stab at this. So because you're internal, you can speak to internal initiatives. So when you get in there, talk about how you will align with internal initiatives. To be honest, the biggest thing is just share your projects. Share what you've learned, what you're working on, share how they align. Talk to an individual contributor in that org. Find out something from him or her. Learn what the day in the life looks like. See if that still makes you excited. Be able to speak to, as I alluded earlier, what pain points is the current team having that you can solve, and then be able to talk about that during your interview and talk with the hiring manager. Because it's internal, you probably know the hiring manager, or you can look up information on the hiring manager and be able to share their years of service, what their projects they've worked on, if they've given internal talks, and be able to use my flattery comment again to your advantage of talking to them about what they've done, how their career's been, and even ask them, hey, if you had the opportunity, would you do this role again? And why?
There it is. Eric Taylor has joined the panel, ladies and gentlemen. Out with Daniel, in with Eric. Next question on the panel. Is it good to change companies in cybersecurity, or better to stay in one? Eric, you just jumped on the channel. Why don't you take a stab at this for Suleiman?
There's two sides of that equation. One, are you really unhappy with the organization that you're working at? Because I can tell you from team members, even when I was younger and did job hops for $1 more back when I worked industrial electrical, we would literally go down the street, so to speak, work at another job for another $1 an hour. It didn't mean that while your paycheck was better to a certain degree, it didn't mean you were happier, right? And we see this even today, that people are leaving for 5, 10, 15K more a year. And while, yes, it does help the family and help smooth the proverbial financial bust down the road, doesn't mean you're going to be happier. So one, are you happy? And two, even if you are happy, is the amount of money that you're going to make offset you financially to deal with whatever problematic mess you're going to be stepping into?
All right, there you go. Hopefully that answers your question. A lot to give consideration to. Trey Black has a fun.
Can I follow up on that real quick? Because
Yes,
it was
you
another
can.
question for you guys who are hiring managers. Do you look at that on resumes? Jack Scott had wrote a post one day about how she purposely looks to make sure somebody had been at the job for 18 months. And of course, that started a slew of comments under there because like some people that they can't handle it 18 months because they're just in a really crap situation.
Gatekeeping.
Do you look for that on a resume that
I
they've
do.
been there? Yeah.
So if you've been at an organization or 3 different organizations and haven't lasted a year, then you're job hopping. You're literally going up the proverbial ranking in an organization for job title and status. Anybody who's been a CISO or watched CISOs and they come in the first 2 or 3 months, they're just assessing, they're ripping out any old policy, trying to implement new policies, and they're never around long enough to see the fruition, to see what worked and what didn't work. So they have no practical understanding of real world scenarios. So if you're job hopping just to get a higher title, no, I'm not interested in that.
Sometimes yes, sometimes no. So it really depends on the situation. Like if
The
I see
position, too.
if I see contract work and you say it was a contract gig and it was 9 months, 12 months, 18 months, that's different.
Yeah.
Well, to Eric's point, like if I just see I'm going to start asking questions. That's going to be like my first. Why this company? Why now? Why are you leaving? To try to uncover, is it a cultural issue to your point? Like, is it just too toxic and that's why you left? Is it because of a health concern? Or is it because there's a lot of avenues that can cause you to jump? But I don't want to see 3 jobs in 3 years. I don't want to see 2 jobs in 3 years for the most part, unless there's a reason. And we're going to unpeel that. And generally, I'm going to have my recruiter figure that out before it even gets to me. My recruiter is going to ask that question if they've got screened enough for the recruiter to reach out to them. Sometimes you won't get there because the ATS is going to see the same thing. So for those who don't know, your automated systems have started looking at years of service too. They don't look at just keywords. They look at years of service. And if they see there's a lot of jobs all in the same year, it may score lower. So be careful with your resume too because of these automated systems.
Cool.
Yeah, there is a hack in that. I was thinking about it, but I didn't want to discuss it. But the real Biblio, sorry, mentioned if I leave prior to 18 months, I'd say it's contract work, and I'm like, and I mean, if you've been in the industry for a while, like let's just say hypothetically, we're looking for a forensic operator, investigator, a TA, but you said that you worked at the Cyber Reason, Kroll, and Mandiant, and you didn't last a year, and you put it as contract work, I know you're full of crap. Because they don't do contract work.
Which goes back to networking.
It does go back to networking.
Yeah.
Always goes
If you've been at this for a year and people know you're awesome, then maybe they'll hire you because they already know who you are. Yeah.
So we have a,
Like
we
you,
have a
Miss
fun
Kathy Chambers?
scenario-based question here for DJ Bisek, birthday boy. Would you prefer a high-paying job with no budget for education or conferences, or a moderate-paying job, one that includes funding for professional development? I.e., would you like to work in public or private sector? That's how I read that.
I would much rather have a job that pays me what I need, not necessarily to get by, but to feel comfortable and have work-life balance.
There we go. Fleetish, let's go around the horn on this one.
So I'm currently having this consideration. I have multiple companies I'm talking with that are in the same thing. Like we have very little funding to send you places. We have very little funding to let you speak. For those who know on here, I like that. So that's a sticking point for me right now. Do I take the job and give up some of that freedom and liberty? Or do I take a little less to have the ability to go speak at conferences, to attend conferences, and to do opportunities? So it depends on where you're at in your career. Let me just preface that. It really depends where you're at in your career. Like if you're willing to do it for 3 to 5 years, maybe do it, make a little money, put it in the bank, and then you can self-pay for yourself to go to these conferences, either on PTO or unpaid leave. Depends on where you're at in your career. So that's where I'm at. It's a hot take for me as well, because it's something I'm currently weighing out with the companies I'm interviewing with.
Well, and it also, in reality, it also depends on, I think you said this, Fleet, is where you're at in your career. If you're at the beginning of your career, go for something that's got no budget for education and conferences that they'll send you to stuff and you can learn all day long. But if you're old and on the back end, you probably want work-life balance.
And the money.
And the money.
I hate when people underplay
family.
how important money is. I'm like, I have
It is
kids that
important.
play travel ball. I need the money. Like
Oh God, travel ball.
So, and I'd love for people in chat to share their answer to this question, because it really is a fun question and it's very unique to individuals as well.
Can
Eric,
I weigh in as a
we're going
business
around
owner?
the horn, so you take a cut at this, and then we'll do Kathy. So
I'm going to take the business owner perspective on this one. I would say that you need to, if you're hiring and you cannot afford to do both, you have a serious cash flow problem, right? So in our organization, we have roughly anywhere between 3 to 6 months of savings for operating costs. That includes upcoming travel, upcoming hotel, just everything that's there, right? So that's built into our expenditure average, and we retain that. So if a company can't do both, then there's potentially some financial problems going on in the organization. Now, it could be a startup company just trying to still get capital to be able to do that. That's a consideration, but it'd be something that I would take a hard look at.
It could also just be the company just doesn't do it.
They're more about profit.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I love profit too, but still.
So, side story real quick. When I was in IT, my director would give money back every year, but he would always tell us he had no money in his budget for training and PE. He would always give money back at the end of the year to say he saved money, but he would never send us to these conferences and these trainings because he said he didn't have the funding. But he would always give tens of thousands back every year.
That's also a red sign, and something like when you go in and say, well, what's the budget for the year? And they're like, oh, there's not really a budget. But then when you start asking for stuff, it's like, oh, we don't have something for that, but we have something for this. So, I mean, that pops more higher.
Yes.
Awesome English there. Higher in the managerial roles and stuff to kind of work that out.
All right, we got just a minute here. Kathy, please answer the question, and then we're going to boogie out of here.
Yeah, I'll make it quick. I just want to second a couple of the comments. I think it depends on where you are in your life. Right now, where I am in my personal life with a house and kids and cars and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and I could keep going. There's a list. Money is more important to me. Professional development, I do that, but I do that on my own time, and I do that with my own money. So, it's early mornings, late nights, so it depends on what you're willing to sacrifice. Right now, I need the money so that I can sacrifice overnights and doing my own studying on the side. But if you're young and just getting started and you don't have those bills or anything yet, then 100% moderately pay so you can get that education and move up.
Well, like Kathy said, it is on all of us in the industry to continuously educate ourselves. So even if you're not getting educated by the company's not paying for it, you should still be finding ways to educate yourself if you want to continue to move up and be
On that
somebody.
note too, we've talked about it a few times here. Get knowledge as cheaply as possible. We've talked about that. Find mentors, find courses on YouTube, Perlo Insight, Antisyphon, Simply Cyber, wherever you go, cheaply as possible. And it doesn't. When I say cheap, it doesn't always have to be money. It could actually be time. Like someone could give you a 2-day course instead of a 5-day course because all you need is a 2-day course. You don't need to sit through 5 days sometimes.
Great advice. Awesome. Excellent. Everybody, I want to say thank you very much for being here today. If you stuck around and got value from the panel, I'm very happy you did. That's why we do it. Shout out to the panel. We've got Eric Taylor, Kathy Chambers,
Frozen
DJ
on my heart.
Bisek, the birthday boy, and Fleetus Poston the third. Shout out to Daniel Lowry. What are we doing?
Kathy froze with her heart.
I froze on my heart. I mean, if I'm going to freeze, that's one way to freeze.
There we go.
Freeze
We'll go full
It's
screen.
better to be like,
It's like I did it on purpose.
I love it. All right, guys. Thank you so very much. I've gone ahead and pinned Daniel Lowry's IRL. He's got a big announcement to share, so go over there and check it out. Say raid in chat so we can let Daniel know that we're crushing him. Guys, have a wonderful weekend. Thank you so very much. Reminder, at 1 p.m. today in Discord, we're doing an AMA. It's the monthly. Sorry on the bingo. I'll take it for action to get those updated. I'm Jerry from Simply Cyber on behalf of the entire panel. Thank you. And until next time, stay secure.
See you next